Hello once again. Hello YouTube. We are back again for another episode on Faa-san commentary runs. This time we are covering. I am covering rather my light team. So I am using Primal for this. You don't exactly have to, but you can. If you can do it, sure, why not? By all means, just do it then. If you can't, that's fine. As always, if you want to know what grid am I using, just go check my description for my loadouts link or whatever shit. Yeah. So first things first, I want to point out that a little bit of a disclaimer on this run is that a lot of things that I'm going to show here is something that you should probably not do, especially if you're relatively new. Because this run, I'm gonna highlight, honestly, it's just too good to not highlight. I'm very likely going to put this entire run on my YouTube, like by itself, so you can hear like the comms and all that shit. It was a fantastic run, trust me. It's a really good run, and I think it was a very, very entertaining run, I would say. But there's a lot of stuff that you really shouldn't do, and I will tell you why later. But another thing to keep in mind is that let's start this first. The one thing I wanted to mention is that that my character setup or my grid setup, I'm using the Hector grid, right? Hector, and I'm using double Zeus. So my character setup is a little bit scuffed because I do not have a lot of light characters to deal with or actually choose from. But you also have to keep in mind that light has one of those major problems where they're always lacking, or more like they're getting way too many primal characters. I do not know why, but light always gets primal characters, right? We have Zoe, we have Lucio, we have Noah, we have Vera. We have like all these good light characters for Faa, but they're all primal, right? So it fucking sucks. So what I ended up using is that I am using Zoe, Funfu, and Lucio because, well, Lucio can DPS and also help with restoring a little bit of Zoe's S tree. So what tends to happen is that I will take a counter at 25. For this specific run, I will take a counter at 25 because they are both primals, right? So the character that I slot in at the back, the first one's gonna replace Lucio, is that it will be Pecorin. Why Pecorin, you ask? Because I do not have any other characters that, you know, can have a full all ally sub. She's the only one that I have for my light that actually does that, because I need someone to tank Paradise Lost, right, or some shit. But you probably see why later on. I'll explain why that might be still a bad idea near the end. So anyway, this is my main party majority of the time, and there's a lot of light characters you can probably consider as well, but you can just check my tier list anyway. I did put in a lot of light characters here. They are pretty damn good. You can consider one, but honestly, if you really want, you should at least try to, because most of the time light always have to go through like killing off their characters most of the time. So you just need to keep that in mind. If you are going to go through, make sure you let everyone know you're taking a counter and shit. Don't just keep quiet and not say anything and shit like that. So yeah, if you're using 2 primals, make sure you do that. But honestly, either one of that is fine. So okay, moving on. So because I'm using Zoe, taking free turns is relatively fine, because Zoe's S3 is very, very strong in this raid. Like, very, very strong. You'll probably see why later. I'll show you why later, very, very soon. So anyway, for the first thing you want to do, and because you're using Zoe, right? The first thing you want to do, you can legit just get Zoe's S3 up on turn 1. You can literally do that on turn 1. So usually what you tend to do, obviously I have to refresh first, but I totally forgot. So you want to refresh first, and usually I too kind of pot in the beginning as well. I just blue pot once. Dispel, obviously, yes, dispel the main body. I just press all Funfu's button, and also I will use her S3 on Zoe because that actually reduces Zoe's S3. And then I just press everything, including Lucio's skills. And right here, I'm also basically waiting for the dark guy because he's doing the cold conjunction thingy. So I'm just waiting for him to go through first. So I press Langs, and then Zoe S3 will be up, see? So if you press all the buttons, you'll be able to get Zoe's S3 up perfectly on turn 1. And it should be relatively fine because it won't do too much damage for you in the next 5 turns or so. And the other thing is that probably if you're wondering why, I'm wondering if max limit break Funfu is doable, yes. The answer is yes. Just max limit break Funfu is good enough. The only thing that she's only lacking is the extra debuff on her Ogi and her she has extra cooldown, 1 extra turn cooldown on her S1 and S2, yes. It's a lot shorter, it's like 1 turn shorter on her full limit break, so it's just basically, and then you just take longer turns to refresh, and not to mention she heals much lesser as well. But the main reason why I say she's okay for max limit break is because she can still dispel on Ogi, and her S2 still clears every single thing out there. As in all, she's probably still the only character that does that, like clears all debuffs, not just 1 debuff. So you definitely want that, and that's also one of the main reasons why you don't really run clear as a light player, because you would definitely just run sub and dispel, because on my setup the only characters that are dispelling is Funfu and MC. If you have like other characters, maybe if you're using like Noah here or some shit, then you probably don't need dispel on your MC, because Noah can actually just use his S1 to dispel. So it's just really based on whatever character setup that you're planning to do. So it's just it's just really up to you. And because this is the setup that I only have and it's relatively okay, so this is what I went with. Okay, so yeah, press all the buttons so I can get Zoe's S3 up, so I should be relatively okay. So go through, straightforward, and this one I do not Ogi yet, because usually I think it's better for me to just Ogi when everyone's full or some shit, because I don't know. It's really up to you. But because also Lucio has his S3 is still up, so that's why I just kind of decided to wait. So for this one, because now it's already overdrive and it's gonna go hit Iblis, so most of the time you don't really get debuffed because you still have your S3 up and running for your Funfu, because that usually lasts for 3 turns. So it should work, but sometimes if it doesn't, then well, whatever, right? Most of the time it doesn't really do all that much. So this turn, usually what I tend to do is that I have to wait for Langs, and then I will use the sub. So Iblis will deal no damage to me. You can probably go through with this as well, but I kind of just want to cycle the sub first, because sub is actually more important for later on, like, you know, going through 85 or 95 or whatever shit. So that's why I did not actually use Zoe's S1 and S2 combo. Usually you want to use them both together for Zoe, because she can dodge and she also takes aggro as well if you put them both together, and then she can multi-attack a lot better, shit like that. So I would prefer to only do that much later so I can cycle much easier. So yeah, so I just wait for Langs and then sub, straightforward, and then I'll nuke. This will probably bring it very close to like 70%. And also another thing to keep in mind is that if you notice my grid, I am using Seraphic, so I am actually doing more damage to the wing. And it's also because if I don't put that in there, I will not have enough HP on my Zoe. So yeah, it looks like I have to use. It's either that or I just put a lot of plasmarks and put another sword in there or some shit, but who cares? Even with the harp, even with the Seraphic weapon harp for light, I can still do decent damage on the main body anyway, because I can still crit and all that shit. So it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, Langs comes up, I nuke. Bam. Bam bam bam. I got like the freaking fear in there, but it doesn't matter because a lot of times people will definitely want to get a clear at this point either way. So I know for a fact that someone's gonna clear, right? So I just said like whatever, I'll just wait till later. Honestly, the fear doesn't really do much. I can just go through the turn with fear up anyway. But like, yeah. I decided to cast my Zeus there just so I can get extra 3k shield to negate any form of the extra damage. So it doesn't really matter too much. You can choose to not do that, but I decided to, you know what, let me just do that. Another thing is that because there's a nuke coming on the wing, so I wanted to take the thing. And also apparently, if you didn't know, this part here is it got scuffed a little bit if you don't know, because what happened is that we had double lengths there, and somehow I managed to actually be in the perfect timing that I went through one length already, and then the second length appeared like literally after I pressed the orange button. So what happens is that the lengths will only appear on my following turn. So it was perfect timing for me, so I literally could just attack again here. So yeah, I'm just gonna delay, and then I whiff my delay, so I was like, fuck, whatever, I guess. Delay doesn't really matter too much for light, because you're light. So at this point, you're definitely going to take another Iblis. Honestly, it really doesn't matter too much, because yeah, once again, you're light. You don't really have much to do unless you're using the likes of Noah or whatever stuff, and then you have to like take the overchain thing for some reason, and yeah, you gotta push through turns and shit or stuff like that. But honestly, doesn't really matter. So there, as you saw earlier, I did press Zoe S1 and S2, so just so I can like negate more damage on my other characters, because I'm gonna go through that set Iblis, and yeah, it's just basically to take no damage, because I am using someone like a stamina grid too, because I do have Edens and shit. So because now Funfu's buff is already, Funfu's clear is already up, so even if I'm dispelled like this, it poses no problems, because I can just press one button and everything is gone already. Press that, all gone. You can refresh your S3 a lot faster as well. That's me checking on Zoe's S3's number, so I'm gonna get that up very, very shortly. And also, you also notice that her S3's buff is already gone, so I don't really want to take any YOLO turns or whatever. So yeah, I have to wait for Lanxes, because I saw like the HP. I aimed at the wing because I saw the HP on the wing is still 54, so it's still somewhat okay. And also the main body is at 98, so I didn't really want to damage the main body too much, because I feel like the other dudes were like aiming the main body. So at this point of time, it doesn't really matter to me. And what's literally happening right now is that I'm trying to set up a meme again. I'm trying to set up a meme because I am gonna go Paradise Lost. And remember me checking Zoe's skill earlier? It's just because of that. I was trying to set up that meme, but I can assure you this is something that you should never do. This is that one thing you should never ever do. Disclaimer, never do what I'm fucking doing, because this thing you're about to see is something so fucking remarkable that I can't even believe it myself. So what's gonna happen is that this part specifically as well, I'm also trying to see if the fire guy can actually trigger labors and stuff. So what exactly is happening here is that I'm asking whether can you actually nuke to 50, and then he said that I'm assuming he said that, if I recall correctly, what he said is that he's not really confident in his damage. And then I was asking, is like, do you want me to take a turn first, so maybe I can push it down lower for you and shit like that. But from my mistake, apparently I did too much damage. So what exactly happened is that I triggered labor instead of him. So yeah, let's play. So that's me asking him. I already have flank, so it's like thinking I can go through or whatever. So asking is like, do you want me to attack first? Attack the wing first. So it's like, he's okay. So I was like, sure. Then I went attack instead. Soon. There. Attack. Bam. I saw 51. I was like, oh shit. I ended up triggering labors. I'm not supposed to, but I ended up did. But honestly, it doesn't really change too much even though you're not taking any triggers or whatever. It shouldn't be too much of a big deal for you because light does light things anyway. Because as you can tell, okay, as you can tell, my sub is already up. So if like the usual fashion, if the Earth guy gets nuked to 50 or whatever, you can also do sub and shit like that. So that's why I actually usually want to press sub early in the beginning, so I can cycle it just perfect for this and shit and stuff like that. So this one thing that you're probably gonna see very, very shortly is something that you should never do. So basically what I am actually trying to do here is that I'm going to take Paradise Lost with just Zoe S3 up. Because there was a meme before this that one of my crewmates, Mr. Drake, said that he actually survived with just Zoe S3. He went through Paradise Lost by accident or something with Zoe S3 only, and he survived somehow. So what exactly happened is that I wanted to try that, so which I did, but to be on the safe side, I didn't really want to ruin the run or some shit. So I ended up grabbing that Titan because someone has a Titan in the pool. So I grabbed that Titan. The guts will at least save me from Paradise Lost, but there's a very high chance for the plane damage to kill me either way. But like, yeah, you get to see what literally happened here. So, because I want to deal that Paradise Lost, right? So I have to wait till overdrive. So the other thing is that the reason why I use my blue pot there, because there's a chance as well that Paradise Lost damage RNG can be very low, and it will allow me to survive. So I was really banking on that. So I was just trying to like get my HP full, so I can actually try and go through Paradise Lost and stuff. But seriously, this is something you should never ever do. If you're in my position or whatever, you should probably go grab like a Typhoon or like a Michael or some shit, and then hopefully you can like delay or gravity or some shit like the main body or whatever, so you can negate whatever I'm doing. Or if you have like Noah S2 or some shit like that, then you just press Noah S2 or like Vera S1. Even Vera S1, there's a chance of her dying too, but at least it's still something, right? But yeah, this is definitely something you should never fucking do. What you're about to see here is something you should never do. And the reason why I also press S3 on Lucio is because he has 100% dark card. So I was just banking if he hits dark that he will survive, but that shit doesn't really help too much because you have to remember that the element is RNG. Because I was thinking like this is probably the end of the run, right? So I was like, you know what, I just press that fucking shit and just go, right? So yeah, right now I'm just waiting for it to go overdrive. And I'm also double checking to see if the labors are done or not, but it doesn't look like it's done. So I'm just, yeah, waiting for them to do their stuff. They're nuking and nuking and nuking, while I'm waiting for Paradise Lost or at least overdrive. And you get to see the most amazing thing I have ever experienced in a while, especially in this raid. Anytime now, it's very close to overdrive. Okay, there it is, overdrive. I am ready. Bam. Okay, attacked. So I was also asking them, what about the counters? Did it go down or not? So apparently they were saying the counters did not go down. So that means I didn't die. So I was like, yeah, I was just so fucking like, I was speechless. I was so speechless. So I had to watch and see what literally happened here. Just watch and see what happens. Okay, Paradise Lost. Funfu, 1 HP. Boom! Plane damage with her completely. Do you know the chances of her getting hit is at least like 75% to 80%? So, what actually happened there is that I survived because of guts. Because of Titan's guts, it made me allowed me to survive Paradise Lost on Funfu. Because everyone else still somewhat survived with a bit of HP, so guts did not exactly trigger there. So it literally just fucking allowed me to survive and the plane damage whiffed Funfu completely. And even to the point that I had enough HP for both Zoe and Lucio. Because if you go back a little bit, let me reverse back a little bit. Where is it? 534. Okay. So if you watch carefully, the plane damage, I still have a bit of HP, right? But the plane damage, watch the plane damage. It landed on both of these characters. My MC is the one that's still on green HP. This two doesn't. But it split enough for me to survive. So what ended up happening is that obviously I'll just do that. I will green pot her and then I will sub. Because I'm not gonna take any what's that? I'm not taking any triggers, so I'm just gonna sub. Just so I can negate any sort of damage on this tree. Because I need to get their HP back up, right, at this point. But yeah. Yet another disclaimer. Never do this. I was fucking lucky on this one. You should never attempt this. So honestly, at this point, if you actually took like Typhoon and shit, things would have gotten a whole lot smoother. But the fun part did not end there. It did not end there, no. So I was so fucking like, I don't know, like so shocked and shit. So I ended up, I couldn't believe myself. So yeah, I had to use Zeus there so I can negate some extra damage. But honestly, it doesn't matter if I take plane damage. So I was like, okay, I need to sub here. Since there's legs, I need to sub there. And then another thing is that this is another scuff thing, if you didn't notice. It's already 85. A lot of people were not ready for 85. And apparently, they have nuked it to 85. So, watch the counter. Watch the counter. Okay? We just watch the counter. It's 4 right now, right? Watch what happens shortly after I refresh this. Oh, I didn't refresh actually, but... So yeah, I did that so MC took everything. So yeah, and because now that Funfu S4 is back up, at least I can heal myself full again. Usually I tend to save that S4 for like Paradise Lost at 10% if there's no like plane damage or whatever shit. But for this case, I think I have to, because if not, I'm just gonna fucking die eventually. So yeah, I press that. I just langsed. I also dispel because it's at 2. You're gonna keep that dispel up and running all the time, remember? So am I gonna langs? Langs. There we go. I didn't really want to press Funfu S1 yet because also I'm already at full HP, so I don't really need a heal anyway. So okay, after I refresh, I think someone died here. Oh, not yet. I remember someone fucked up at that at this point. Someone in the raid fucked up really badly. Okay, so this point. Okay, so this is that thing. If you didn't notice, I actually took that turn. Without a Langs. You see, I took the turn without a Langs. Because that's literally what happened in this run. There's too many people. See, I had no Langs, right? If you look properly, I had no Langs. For some reason, we are scuffed on Langs too, if you didn't know. Because you can hear, you know, like what's that? What's that word? The fucking... Yeah, we were scuffed on Langs and shit. So... I know that we are all stuck on Langses. Nobody can proceed through with Langses. So another word of advice, if you're actually going through the turns properly, you will never experience this at all. So that's why going through turns and resetting your cooldowns is very, very important in this run. If you don't do that, it's probably for Paradise Lost and shit. That is totally understandable though. So that's why you kind of need to cycle the shit properly and stuff like that, just so you don't be in that situation. And, you know, instead of banking on RNG like what happened like a moment ago. So, anyway, the reason why I didn't go through, wait for Langs because, yeah, nobody has Langs. And I decided to, like, you know what? I think I'm going to try and reset for Langs. And I also noticed that Zoe's S3 is up. And that should not be a problem for me. So, yeah. I went through the turn. I said, fuck it. Go through the turn. Screw it. Because Zoe S3, I can assure you, is very, very strong. And this run is probably one of the best examples to show how strong Zoe S3 is. So I think once again that I'm not sure this was the one where I went through without lengths again, because I was trying to see, yeah. So I'm trying to set up again without any length. So what I did was Zoe S2 and S1, and hopefully she takes the hits and dodge instead, which she did. And now I have length, so I was like, okay, that should be fine. So sure, okay, I just attack again because I have lengths now. So my lengths is gonna be back up very shortly. I got zombie fight, but that's fine because Funfu S2 is so OP. So this is also the good part because I have green apple now. And because I have green apple, I can heal myself up very, very easily. But I don't really need to do that because I'm already so freaking full on HP. So went through like normal. Yeah. Then make sure to keep dispelling because remember, it's already 3 stacks. You have to keep dispelling. You have to try to keep nuking on the main body and stuff. So I have my lengths up. So this is the part I think I lengths as well. Because I know we are always scuffed on lengths. So yeah, this run it was quite scuffed because I was like, yeah, I had to go through a lot of free turns thanks to that. But because I managed to get Zoe S3 up and running again, so it should be no problem at all. So I decided to heal to get her thing back up. And I need to nuke here because, yeah, I need to nuke to dispel, right? So Funfu needs to nuke. I have to nuke. So there we go. Nuke. And decided to, I just press Lucio's shit because why not, I guess. So once again, I think this part is still... I was still wondering if there's any lengths or not, but then it's like, yeah, fuck it. Still no lengths, so I just say fuck it and attack. Zoe got hit quite a bit, but it wasn't really that bad in the first place. It's still fine. I decided to delay a little bit here, but it whiffed because I really do not want to trigger any form of Ogis at this point because it's probably going to be phosphorus later. It can be relatively a bad idea. So I once again attack again with no lengths because... just because I can. Or more like because Zoe S3 is just so damn strong. So yeah, now the phosphorus is back up. You definitely want to have a length and a sub in case you die. You definitely want that just so you can survive that, really. So yeah, you got that up. Okay, dispel. Remember to keep dispelling. So now I know that my Zoe S3 is off again. So is something that I really do not want to take the risk anymore. So yes, I just use my own length, so I take my own turn. And I use Funfu S1 S2 off cooldown now. I'm literally doing off cooldown now just so I can reset Zoe's S3 relatively quick. I have to do that because we already kind of established that we are always lacking of lengths, right? So yeah, that's what I did. And Light is able to do that all thanks to Zoe. That's how strong Zoe is in this run. I usually I would always suggest new players to use Zoe is just because of that, really. Because of how strong her S3 is. Because it makes it go safe. It's better for you to consistently just go through with lengths every turn. But yeah, if you're really stuck on lengths and you're still relatively healthy like I am or whatever, and you have Zoe S3 up, so yeah, if you have Zoe S3 up, you can still do it just fine anyway. So this is the part I decided to like Zeus up so I can get extra shield, 3000 shield to everyone. And yeah, I just attacked anyway because I have lengths. Orbital is not really that painful. Yeah, that didn't really do anything. And doesn't look like anyone's gonna lengths. So I just press that, fuck it. Nobody's lengthsing. Attack again. Yep, there you go. Yep, same thing again, if I recall correctly. Yeah, press S2, S2, S1, delay a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't get Ogi. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I still have my Typhoon if I need to, but it doesn't look like I needed it, so I just decided to say fuck it. And yeah, once again, gone through another turn without lengths. I'm still very, very healthy because as long as you keep the trigger, the Evangelist Blade at like, I don't know, 2 or 1 stack or 0 stacks, you should be safe with Zoe S3. So yeah, press that off cooldown, press that off cooldown, so I can reset. Yeah, then I decided to do that, but if I recall correctly, I decided to not nuke here because I just wait just to allow people to get ready for 25 here, because I know for a fact that a lot of people seems to be relatively stuck or whatever shit. Yeah. So I know, like my usual fashion is that if I only have one Kirin, I prefer to just Kirin when only it's needed. If there is no use of my Kirin, I just save my Kirin for 25. That's usually what I tend to do. So like, there you go. I just use Kirin at 25 because usually you do that just to negate whatever, like just so you can cycle on Lanxes or like a clear or whatever shit. So at this point, my Lucio is going to die. So I decided to just press all his skills on him. His S2 doesn't his S3 doesn't really matter too much. I decided to nuke here, and I didn't press Zoe S3 up because I'm saving that for that. Basically because Lucio is gonna die, so I just saved that for my next character that comes in. So now that Pecorin is in here, I decided to do that. So once again, I do the same thing. Just do all the skills to Zoe, same shit. Yeah. So now I'm literally just waiting to see if anyone's taking through a turn. But it doesn't look like anyone's taking a turn. So it's like, since it's 12%, I should be able to go through at least one turn. So which I did, because I pressed sub and attacked. Attack, there we go. This will do no damage because yeah, Lanx and sub should do no damage for you. So now we know, now we are at Paradise Lost soon. Paradise Lost is at 10%. And for my specific setup, I have to kill off Pecorin. Pecorin is the one that has the all ally sub, but the problem is that she doesn't have enough defense to sustain Paradise Lost. So what usually happens, she will die. So this is that part where I decided to sit back because there's only 2 counters left. I already took 1 counter to do the nuke earlier, and took an extra 1 turn. It was kind of like a waste, but like, yeah. And I didn't mention this because I was mostly like focused on, I pressed the wrong button. I was mostly focused on explaining what literally is happening on my side. But if you guys didn't know, there was a lot of shit happening behind the scenes here because you can't hear anything. But like, our main debuffers in this raid are dead. Urius is dead. The wind player's Urius is dead, and the fire player's Anira is dead as well. So the 2 biggest debuffers in this raid are dead. So we literally have no debuffs anymore at this point. So I was thinking like, that's why I was thinking like, if you guys can still nuke right now and not take a counter, please do that. Because I know for a fact that I will take 1 counter because of Pecorin. Because you know for a fact that I do not have Funfu S1. I mean S1. S4. Because if I have Funfu S4 or Guts or whatever, then I can survive. Because all the labors are gone, right? So it won't do plain damage to me. I'll be at 1 HP. But like, she will die. Pecorin will die. So thankfully they have enough nukes for me. Enough nukes for it to die. But yeah, it didn't look like anyone actually required a counter at that point. So it was relatively okay. So if at that point, if for some reason, if I had to take a turn or whatever to take 1 counter, it should be still okay. Yeah. So yeah, that was a very, very scuff run. So I am planning to upload this specific run on my channel as well. You probably see it at the same time when this whole commentary video comes live on my YouTube channel. So yeah, that's my whole character set. Lucio is the only one will die, so Pecorin takes over. And yeah, the main problem with Light is just really based on the amount of characters that light has that are all primal. That's the biggest problem, unfortunately, but that's something you have to deal with as a light player, I suppose. So you usually have to take out one count. You have to take out one counter at 25, because most of the time that tends to be the case. Unless you have like fucking Geisenborger or some shit, then yeah, you can just slot him in here or some shit, or like have someone to die and let him take over or some shit, and have him permanently in your front line, and none of your characters will die because Geisenborger is Doraf, and usual light setups for Faa doesn't have Doraf characters, so you can just slot him in, and he's very, very perfect for Faa too, because if all his aggro up and all of his wonderful S3 skill, he can take turns like no tomorrow, because all the aggro goes to him anyway, so he just won't die. He takes all the hits, he just won't die. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much how my light runs are, and well, not all my light runs are like this, but yeah. So once again, yes, do not attempt that whole Paradise Lost thing I did in this video, but if you want to do it for the memes, sure, by all means, be my guest. That's really up to you. So, but yeah, keep in mind that a lot of times, like, I took those free turns is because I'm confident enough to survive that. But a lot of times, if you're still relatively new, you shouldn't do that. I really highly suggest you to not do that, because it's very, very risky. And if not, maybe you can just get very unlucky and shit, just take a fuck ton of damage and shit like that. Because you probably, maybe you didn't manage to control your evangelist stacks properly as well, and then stuff like that happens, and then you just die. So you really, still, end of the day, you should always go through with a Langs and stuff like that. But if you really, really have no other choice, I guess you should only do it with low stacks, and make sure you have Zoe's S3 up, if you're using Zoe, that is. If not, then yeah. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching my commentary on my light team for Faa. So hopefully you guys find that helpful and enjoy that. So like, subscribe, I guess, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.